If we take a look over the last 50 years and evaluate all of the foods that we've been eating, and we have consumed this one food in a massive amount. Check out this graph. So on the left here, we have various different types of foods, which I'm hiding right here. And we can see the relative amounts of certain calories, right? Compared from 1970 to 2014. You can see this one food right here spiked over 8,000%. That's 8,853%. Compared to this food spiked 198%, this one 129%. And these are quite large, but nothing compared to this one food right here. Can you take a wild guess what you think this food is? Go ahead and comment down below. And it's not refined white sugar. The amount of this particular ingredient is consumed by the average American that equals about 63 pounds. Most ultra-processed foods have three basic ingredients. The starches, that includes maltodextrin, modified food starch, and modified cornstarch. You have the sugar, which usually is in the form of glucose syrup, corn syrup, or beet sugar. Then you have seed oils like corn oil and soy oil and canola. So I did not mention this ingredient yet. Can you still guess what it is? I'll give you another hint. When you consume it, only one organ can break it down, and that is the liver. And this ingredient acts much like alcohol, even though it's not alcohol. In other words, the body has to get rid of it, and it uses similar pathways to break it down, and it produces 7 times the glycation effect. And glycation is when you have the combining of a protein to a sugar. And when you consume it, it suppresses hunger. It also depletes your vitamins and minerals. It's probably one of the most potent triggers to metabolic syndrome, a fatty liver, inflammation. Can you guess what it is? Let's take a look. Okay, high fructose corn syrup. That's right. High fructose corn syrup has spiked by over 8,000%. Let's take a look at the next one. Corn products. That would be the corn starch. That would be the corn oil, but not necessarily high fructose corn syrup. And I do not think this includes the seed oils. All right, next one is skim milk has increased by 129%. Then we get chicken, turkey. Then we get added fats and oils. Vegetables have been going down by 3%. Butter has been downtrending about 8%. And then we have eggs downtrending by 21%. Beef downtrending by 29%. So there's a lot of people against beef because they think it's the problem, but it's been decreasing by almost 30% over this time period. And look at this, refined white sugar has been decreasing or downtrending by 35% over this time period. So high fructose corn syrup is very poisonous. You need to avoid it. It's hidden in a lot of different foods and drinks and sodas and other processed foods. You just have to start reading the labels. Unfortunately, we subsidize corn. So a good portion of the corn that these manufacturing companies use come from what's called dent corn, which is not even edible. They're even making milk out of corn right now. I'm not kidding. Most of it's GMO, which means it's herbicide tolerant. You spray a herbicide on it like glyphosate and it doesn't die. Unfortunately, the U.S. is the top producer of corn and the top consumer of corn. Corn has now replaced the consumption of rice in China. And most of the corn sold in the U.S. is sold for animal feeds. Unfortunately, they don't really use grass as much as they should. In 1930, farmers would extract about 20.5 bushels of corn per acre. In 2022, farmers extract 173 bushels per acre. With the advent of all the different pesticides and GMOs, we can grow a tremendous amount of product in a very small area, which is not only not good for the environment, but not good for the soil, and not good for our health. So as you start to read ingredients, not only avoid the high fructose corn syrup, but also the modified food starch, as well as the modified corn starch and the maltodextrin and the glucose syrup and the seed oils. Now, if we want to flip to the absolute best food you should be eating, you should watch this video right here. Check it out. So what would happen if you consumed just 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil every single day. That's the topic for today. There's a lot of amazing things in olive oil that people have no clue. And there's a couple ways you can take it. I put it on my salad, and this is my, I don't know if you can see this right here. This is my olive oil right here. Okay. I use a very specific type because it's the real stuff. I've been to the farm in Italy where they grow these olives. It's called Fattori San Michele a Torri. Okay. But anyway, unfortunately, a lot of the olive oil out there is fake. And I had no idea of fake versus real for many, many years, and probably until 5 years ago, when I actually tasted real extra virgin olive oil. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Before I was consuming this fake olive oil that was bland. It didn't really have any taste. It didn't have that peppery grass-like taste, and it didn't irritate the back of my throat. Those are just indicators you have the real thing, because unfortunately they sometimes dilute olive oil with other oils like soy or canola. So they're trying to clean that up right now. But it was quite amazing when I went to this farm where they created this olive oil. I had a chance to check the soil and check the microbes, which are off the chart. Also, the care involved in making this product was just way over the top. I mean, this goes way beyond just organic. Now, I don't get any kickbacks from this company, but I will say when I find a good product, I definitely will let people know about it. So you can either add it to your salad with balsamic vinaigrette or apple cider vinegar. I put some lemon on my salad. I put sea salt, or you can just take 2 tablespoons of this oil every day. It's a pure fat, so it's not going to spike insulin. So let me just go through some of the compounds in olive oil, okay? And I'm not going to give you the long names because every time I do that, I tend to put people to sleep. So I'll just bring it up on the slide and I'll go through the different effects that can be created. So this first phytonutrient has some pretty powerful cardioprotective properties, okay? Giving you significant blood pressure lowering effects. You have 2 different types of blood pressure. You have primary and secondary. Another name for primary is called essential. So essential hypertension. And what's interesting about that is that it doesn't have a cause. They don't know what the cause is. And that's 95% of all the blood pressure problems out there. They don't know what the cause is. Of course, we have all sorts of medications to help you in the meantime until we find a cause. And since we're on the topic of this, you might also want to add vitamin D and more potassium, as well as lowering your sugar, because when you have insulin resistance, you can make the arteries really, really hardened and your blood pressure will go up. But the point is that extra virgin olive oil can help you. They even make this special point, if you're on medication and you're taking olive oil at the same time, your blood pressure could come down too low. I mean, why wouldn't you want something without side effects to lower your blood pressure? I mean, the solution is just to take less medication, right? Some other benefits include anti-cancer. It also protects the hypothalamus and another part of your brain called the substantia nigra, which has everything to do about dopamine. And if you have a problem with that part of your brain, you can end up with Parkinson's. So olive oil protects the brain and has neuroprotective properties. And another really important thing about olive oil is it's very anti-inflammatory. There's a lot of things in extra virgin olive oil that help with inflammation and pain. So let's move on to the next phytonutrient. This one, again, gives you anti-inflammatory benefits. It can act as an analgesic to help with pain. It has antimicrobial effects, and also it can help support the beta cell of the pancreas, which has everything to do with helping your blood sugars and also with helping lowering insulin, because the beta cell makes insulin. All right, in this next compound, there's anti-cancer properties as well as anti-arthritic benefits. And then in these last 3 phytonutrients, which are sterols. A sterol is a compound that's very similar to cholesterol and also similar to steroids. And so in this first compound, there's benefits with benign prostatic hypertrophy. If you get this enlarged prostate, extra virgin olive oil can help you. This phytonutrient also helps you balance cholesterol, specifically LDL. And I'm talking about the small, dense particles, okay? And then we get another phytonutrient, which is another sterol, which is anti-inflammatory, and also it can benefit your LDL. And then there's another sterol, which can also help with your LDL. So there are a lot of different phytonutrients. I just covered only 6 of them, but there are hundreds of naturally occurring compounds with all sorts of very cool effects. There's also, by the way, a good amount of vitamin E in extra virgin olive oil. So I hope in this video I convinced you to start using more olive oil on a regular basis. It can really help you. And if you haven't seen this video on olive oil, you definitely want to check it out. I put it up right here.